Hey, what's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to another video. This one is coming out a little bit late, but that was due to some stuff going on. Anyway, we are taking a look at a cool set of scenery right here. This is the Sector 3 Delta Complex from Ttcombat Terrain. This stuff is really kind of cool. I've had my eye on it for quite a while. It is some of the MDF terrain, which is quite durable, very versatile. Very easy to put together as well, and extremely affordable. Basically, I was able to get a whole bunch of it for extremely for very little cost, basically. Yeah, if you're anywhere outside of Canada, you'll probably be able to stretch that even a little bit further. Anyway, we are going to take a quick look at it today. Just going to share some thoughts on it and everything like that. And just to start it off, I'm really digging this stuff. Take a look at the quality of it. All of it is the laser cut stuff. Even with paint on it, this has been primed and basic painted and all that sort of stuff. You'll still see the cuts in there, the laser cuts for the details. If you wanted to give it a little bit of a wash, you could even go one further and do that, which is excellent. The panels here have a really nice look to it. All of it just lends itself really well to most sci-fi games, which awesome. And it complements a lot of things as well, and it's super easy to paint. Honestly, all of this stuff, I think I spent maybe a total of 3 hours painting this all up. It was all done via airbrush. You could easily use the rattle cans for it as well. Super easy. The nice thing is that it also allows you to make a couple different types of designs with it. So right now I just have a couple mock-ups right here. I don't know if I'm going to set it up to be in the standard one that that's sort of advertised in. I'm undecided at the moment because I kind of like the fact that with the wooden clips and everything like that, you can really get a whole bunch of different designs, get a whole bunch of verticality as well to it as well, which is really nice. And I think verticality is something that a lot of games really benefit from. But this particular set, you do get about four. Well, not about, but you get four of these builds right here. So the towers. You get two of these smaller ones right here, the one-story sort of stacks. You end up getting three of these. These are probably my least favorite part about it just because of the big open space in it. But you get three of these as well. You can see that they all have the little slots here to sort of expand it and connect a whole bunch of other things to it. Just to give a little bit more play area. You do get two of these taller ladders, and I believe it's two of these smaller ladders. No, three of these smaller ladders, which are quite good for the different verticality to it all as well. And then you just get a bunch of these barricades. Just quick count, I think there's let's see, 20, 24, 28 of these little barricades, and these are great because they basically just slip right on to the anywhere you get those little slots there. It just slips right on, and it's actually quite steady or quite sturdy with just that. The friction fit does the job very nicely. As far as assembly goes, the whole thing, I think I spent about maybe 2 hours assembling the whole thing. Got to be careful with some of it. You don't want any of the wood to splinter. There are a couple pieces around here. I'm not quite sure where some of the wood did start to splinter on me. It did create some concerns as I was getting everything assembled. Nothing too major. It was easy to assemble, but time consuming. There are some. Oh, here's the broken piece. Yeah, you got to watch out for stuff like that where it kind of splits right there. Because a lot of this stuff seems to be designed to be worked with friction fit. I've glued quite a bit of it. Any of the structures here, I've actually glued just to make them a little bit more stable and durable. But a lot of these other pieces, especially anything where it is just connected by those pieces right there, they are just going off the friction fit. So the whole set, from unassembled to painted, probably about 5 hours tops. It actually takes up most of the space for a standard kill team size board these days. So 22 by 30 inches for those of you who are playing 40k kill team. So it takes up a good chunk of space on the board. It doesn't take very many of these sets to fill up a full size board for 40k either, because you obviously you don't need the entire thing covered up, but it takes that real estate and it makes very judicious use of it, and it's very nice as a result. Like I said, it's a perfect complement. It's great for smaller skirmish games. This stuff is going to work great with Kill Team. It's going to work great with Infinity. It's going to work great with 40k as a whole. Anything sci-fi, gothic, or even kind of to an extent modern industrial. It's going to work really well with, which is quite nice. I do have a couple qualms with it. Nothing that's really a deal breaker though. Some of the laser cut pieces, like when they send it to you, you get these sheets of MDF board. Some of the pieces are really in there, and you really kind of got to force it out, which does mean you do run the risk that you might be causing a little bit more damage to the pieces than you would otherwise do, just because sometimes you really got to force it out. Like as you can see, the friction fit stuff is really tough at times. Doesn't help that the paint jobs on here as well are just adding to that as well. So there was that as a bit of a concern. It wasn't a huge issue in the grand scheme of things, but it did cause a little bit of concern, and it slowed things down a little bit. Most pieces generally came off pretty easily. Some of the other Ttcombat sets are a little bit... They suffer from that a little bit more than this one does. Oh, here I am having a hard time getting it back on here. So your mileage is going to vary a little bit in that regard. But it's something to be mindful of, just in case. Like you don't want to be forcing anything. You don't want to be breaking any of the terrain that you've obviously just purchased and you're trying to assemble. So you got to be careful about that. The other thing you really got to be careful of, depending on whether or not you've glued things, you probably don't want to be dismantling them. Yeah. Because like, as you can probably tell, I'm having a little bit of a time trying to dismantle some of these pieces just here on camera. Just kind of showcases the ease or lack thereof at times on it. But it's all stuff to keep in mind. The other thing I probably would have a small complaint about is that some of these pieces are really good for customization, versatility, that sort of stuff. But some of them are very much like this is the way they are supposed to be put together. And I mean, it's a little unfortunate, but at the same time, it is kind of nice to have that sort of understanding of how the pieces flow together and work together, which is kind of good. But all in all, I'm a big fan of the train. I think it's really cool. I'm looking forward to getting this stuff in my local game store, and just because I think it's gonna work as a nice addition to what we have to game with. But anyway, yeah, I definitely recommend it. I think it's definitely worth taking a look at and seeing if this is stuff you want to add to your own collection. I think it can offer a lot for a very small investment, which is excellent, especially with the hobby dollars needing to go further these days. So I highly recommend it. So yeah, that is the Ttcombat Delta 3 terrain kit. So go take a look at it. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. And as always, hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you next week. Happy wargaming.